which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Sylvia, roll call.
Mayor Clark.
Here.
Council President Harris.
Here.
Councilor Henderson.
Here.
Councilor Kuiper.
Here.
Councilor King.
Here.
Councilor Browse.
Here.
And Councilor Robinson is absent.
Thank you. So I wanted to, before we move on, I wanted to read something on our agenda. We have received a request, the application for ordinance 2016-016, amending the comprehensive plan and zoning map to rezone approximately 2.66 acres of a 5.86 acre site from the general commercial to medium density residential high, has requested that the application be continued until January. And so I wanted to give notice to the public that if you're here for that, we're going to be moving that to the next available council meeting. So you are free to stay and enjoy our awesome council meeting. But if you came to testify on that item, we'll be talking about that in January and not tonight.
Mayor Clark, can I sorry, over here. Just to clarify, December 20th, so I just wanted to clarify the date, and I believe it's January 17th is the date.
I'm sorry, I did not read the final.
No, that's okay. I just wanted, if anybody's there, I want to make sure they get notice of
The
that.
next available council meeting for this matter is January 17th, 2017. So what I meant by the next available is the next available for this matter, and that would be January 17th. Thank you for the clarification. So we have approval of agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move we approve the agenda.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, council. Consent agenda, approval of October 18th, 2016, City Council meeting minutes. Resolution 2016-064, completing the annual performance evaluation of the city manager for the city of Sherwood. Resolution 2016-065, completing the annual performance evaluation of the city recorder for the city of Sherwood. Resolution 2016-066, appointing Eleanor Simon to the Library Advisory Board. Resolution 2016-067, appointing Ursa Shaw to the Library Advisory Board. Resolution 2016-068, appointing Bernie Sims to the Cultural Arts Commission. Resolution 2016-069, revising the existing set of city financial policies. Do I have a motion to approve consent?
I move consent.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, council. Citizen comments, do we have any citizen comments, Sylvia? Thank you. Nancy Taylor.
Okay. First, let me say, Joe Gall, thank you so much for all the hard work you put into the Citizens University. I don't know if everybody here is aware of the code of ethics that Joe in his position have to live by, but it was one of probably the highlights of the entire Citizens University to find out what our city manager believes in and how he strives to live up to a code. And I was blown away. Everyone else did a great job, but I really want to call out Joe. And thank you, Ms. Kuiper, for taking an idea that you talked about on the street one day and making it real. That was a very wonderful, and I hope lots of people get involved. The other thing I want to ask is, during the election, signs popped up that said "Save Our Y," and I felt like it was an elitist group talking about saving the Y, because somehow the taxpayers here in Sherwood paid for the Y. I'm not sure how much each individual paid. I mean, I tried to go back over my own taxes, but one thing I learned in the university is that some of the cost for the Y was melted into the Parks Board, and some of the information that started out as being part of the Y, like the little Coliseum over here, the Y decided after a year they didn't want it anymore, so they dumped it, and then the city picked it up, and the city is now not only fairly successful at it, but they're also scheduling all kinds of things in town based on the good job they're doing with this one little facility. So I don't know. One thing I would like, I know that this is a contentious subject right now, but one thing I would like to see happen along with this study is I'd like to see and find out how much the average citizen paid for the Y so far. Because I know the Y is going to be asking for some improvements in the future, and I'm not sure how this whole study is going to come up. But I also know from working with Ys in other towns that this isn't how it works. The citizens aren't asked to divvy up the money and put it on their taxes. There's an awful lot that we as citizens have to pay on our taxes, and I'm not sure an organization like the Y should be doing that sort of charity fundraising on my taxes. So anyway, if there's some way to put that together, I'm sure first the newspaper might be interested in that. And I would think other cities that are considering the same kind of measure might be interested in it too. But me as a citizen, I'd like to know how much I've put in so far. Not me specifically, but me as a citizen. What's the average amount? So I don't know if that's possible, but it would sure be a nice figure to have and maybe be put in the minutes when we move on with this subject. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy. Chrissy Kazar.
Shannon. I didn't register her in. She's a Rotary Youth Exchange student from Keelung, Taiwan. And so I thought she could come with me and help. She's staying with my family, and she's at Sherwood High School if anyone's interested. So I'm Chrissy Kazar. Am I supposed to say my address? Do you guys do that anymore?
Sherwood.
Okay, I'm in Sherwood.
If you're Sherwood.
Rock and Willow Court. So today I have a couple topics. Might as well get rid of these first. Is that okay? So I think a lot of people know, but just in case they don't, Linda Henderson, I know this is not supposed to be an open forum, so you're just going to have to correct me with your eyebrows or something. But I think you've been a city councilor for nearly 12 years. And next month, I believe, is your last month. December, yeah. So I wanted to just, on behalf of, and before that, just before I finish, weren't you on the Parks Committee or something?
Mm-hmm. For 5 years.
For 5 years, so 17 years of volunteering for Sherwood. And I know that I'm a month early with this, but I talked to Chris Ann a couple of months back when she was visiting the Rotary Club, and you mentioned that this might be around the last meeting for the year for you. So I asked permission to come down.
That would be news to me. No.
We have one more. Yeah. So this time of year, right? So I wanted to come down and just thank you for your service.
Thank
Sherwood.
you
And
very much.
really, the other half of it is to invite anyone who's currently on the board or someone who's going to be joining the board to consider using your last month of volunteerism and reach into that deep treasure of knowledge you have about what you've done for Sherwood, or even more about how Sherwood works and how you've been successful as a city council person.
Thank you very much.
And then Renee, I think you're also up at the same time, right? In December. So you stepped in to fill a vacant seat that was unexpectedly. So for stepping up and stepping in, I just want to thank you on behalf of the city.
That's sweet. You want me to put it over here with mine?
Nice. Okay, so 2 more things. I'll be quick. Are my 4 minutes? I got 2 left.
2 left.
Awesome. Okay, 2 more. Seniors. Okay, love seniors. I think we're doing a lot now for the seniors in our community, but the need is only going to get greater, not just because of the aging community, not just because the citizenship is growing, not just because healthcare is in a changing place, and we don't really know what's going to be happening with all of their needs being met in the foreseeable future. But also, I think because we are coming together more as a community, I think the needs are going to become more apparent to us as we look to form and meet the needs of our citizens. I don't want them to be overlooked. I know that the census was done a while ago, so I don't know what the current numbers are. But when I look around at the budgets, I love the dog park. It's $100,000. It's 4 blocks from my house. I love the dog park, but I wonder what can we do to take care of the needs of our seniors. And I know that Washington County is willing to partner on grants and on services. A lot like what is being considered for other services within the community. I think there's more that can be leveraged by pulling the assets and the people who have the most knowledge around this, and finding out how we can step up and begin to do our part of caring for our seniors, which leads me to the Y. It's one of the things I'm proud of. The Y does have a program for seniors. Our parks are not senior friendly. They're not, and there are some walking areas, I grant you that, but a lot of the activities that are at the parks are designed for the families and the youth. And what I love about the current Y solution for our community is that there is a very defined program for seniors, and I think it's rich and robust. So as you look forward to revisiting the contracts for the Y, or for whatever we plan as that solution for our community, I'd like to encourage everyone to contact Washington County Department of Aging and Veterans Services and find out what they project the senior needs to be for the foreseeable future and match that up with your needs analysis. Okay, I was over, but.
Thank you. Barely. That was super
Christine.
close.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Thank you.
And welcome.
Shannon.
Rhoda, yeah.
Teske.
Where's she from again? Taiwan.
Hi, my name is Tess and I live in Sherwood. I just want people to understand and make it as clear as I can that I know all of this stuff is going on with the Y, and hopefully it will play out so that the city and the Y's partnership melds together and we go hand in hand. I want to make perfectly clear that citizens understand the YMCA building belongs to the city of Sherwood, and that's why the taxpayer money was raised, and that's why the citizens funded it. It is run by the entity of the YMCA. The building belongs to Sherwood, and I just want to make that really clear. And let's see what happens moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Tess. Do we have any additional? Okay, we'll close the citizen comment time. Our first presentation is proclamation proclaiming December 10th, 2016 as Human Rights Day. I have a proclamation here to read. And we actually have a guest as well that's going to come up after I've read the proclamation. It's kind of exciting. So, Human Rights Proclamation, December 10th, 2016, as Human Rights Day. Whereas on December 10th, 1948, the members state of the United Nations signed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and countries of different political, economic, and social systems unanimously agreed on the fundamental rights that all people share solely on the basis of their common humanity. And whereas the Universal Declaration asserts recognition of the inherent dignity and of the equal and inalienable rights of all members of the human family is the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace. And whereas disregard and contempt for human rights have resulted in acts which have outraged the conscience of mankind. And whereas the advent of the world in which human beings shall enjoy freedom of speech and belief and freedom from fear and want has been proclaimed as the highest aspiration of the common people. And whereas the Universal Declaration is referred to as the authoritative definition of human rights standards and increasingly referred to as customary international law, which all countries must abide. And whereas the primary responsibility to promote respect for these rights and freedoms lies with each individual in Sherwood, and each of us can play a major role in enhancing human rights. And whereas the people of Sherwood reaffirm their faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, and in the equal rights of men and women, and have determined to promote social progress and better standards of life. And now, therefore, we, the City Council of Sherwood, Oregon, do hereby proclaim December 10th, 2016 as Human Rights Day. I have my guest, Peg Fobb, with Human Rights Council of Washington County. Please come forward and welcome tonight. You wanted to say
Thank
a
you
few
very
words?
much. Mayor Clark and all of you for just giving us a few short minutes here. I think the Human Rights Declaration and acknowledging the day is particularly important this year, possibly because there's been so much polarization and divisiveness in the country the last few months, and you all, of course, are aware of that. The goals of the Human Rights Council are education, advocacy, collaboration, and action. And a couple of the things we've done in the past year that we're pretty happy about is when we got our nonprofit 501c3 status so that people can make donations and get a tax deduction. That's a nice thing. We've held a number of listening sessions, some at Southridge High School with the Gay Straight Alliance of Students, some at Villa Royale with the elders, some with, we've been working with a group out in Cornelius because the students, United We Stand students, did a walkout last spring. And so recently we've been out there helping facilitate discussions between parents, students, school administrators, and business and city officials. And it was a very well received conversation. I think it helped people to hear each other. And we will be continuing those sorts of conversations in the future. We also have, because we've heard from people who have expressed real fears and concerns in this environment, unfortunately, we've set up a place on our website where people can report incidents of harassment or abuse because of race or religion. We are working with the Washington County Sheriff's Department in this area. I mean, some people are a little afraid of reporting to police, but we always encourage people to report if possible. Otherwise, we're just trying to keep track of the incidents so that we have some way of knowing what's happening. And we're also setting up some listening sessions in December and January. One will be at Central Cultural in Cornelius. One will be at the Muslim Educational Trust building right on the edge of Beaverton. And then one at the Tualatin City Library. So we're trying to get different areas of the county. And they'll be open to anybody, of course. Human Rights Council members will facilitate. And the goals is just to give people a place to share what they're feeling and their fears, and also to give them some support and help if possible. Maybe offer ideas like self-defense classes for women or whatever might be available in the county. So anyway, and then the other thing I just want to mention is, our poster contest winners are still being judged. They were a little late this year, but you will see them and they'll be on our website. It's always really, really fun to see what the kids come up with, and we've had some really wonderful ones this year. The theme is Building Bridges for Humanity, and they've really taken off on that. And the other thing I would remind you of is the Martin Luther King Day celebration for the whole county, and that will be held in Beaverton. This year, our keynote speaker is Verna Bailey, who was the first African-American woman to integrate the University of Mississippi in 1965, and she graduated in 3 years because she said she really wanted to get out in 1968. And I think she will be a very exciting speaker. So we'll send you flyers about that. Anyway. Pardon? What day is that? January 15th. It's the Sunday of the weekend of the...
Sunday, okay.
Yeah. And it's at Southminster Presbyterian Church in Beaverton.
And the time?
4 o'clock in the afternoon, and also the kids receive their awards for the contest. There's music, and we'll try to keep it to no more than an hour because there are a lot of kids who come to it. So even a lot of adults who do. An hour is probably a lot. So anyway, yes, I invite you to come and hear Verna, and I think it'd be very interesting to hear her now. And the theme is what happened to the dream. So
Well, thank you so much, and I'd like to present you with our Human Rights Proclamation to attest that the city of Sherwood is in support.
Yeah, thank you so much. I have never been to the council at Sherwood before. This is really nice.
Well, yay, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I didn't have any flowers to bring. Next time.
You're not going to throw flowers at us? What? Well, thank you so much, Peg, for coming. We really appreciate it. All right. Recognition of Eagle Scout Award recipient. I wasn't sure if our Eagle Scout was able to come tonight, but it's Matthew Summers. Is he here with us this evening? All right. So we will send you your certificate, Matthew. Congratulations on a job well done, and thank you very much for your service. We'll get that to you. All right. Recognition of graduates. Sherwood Citizen University. Woohoo! City Manager Joe Gall.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I'm going to ask you in a moment to come down. We have certificates for our first ever graduates of the Sherwood Citizens University course that just wrapped up a few weeks ago. Before we do that, though, I want to say a few words of thanks to a variety of people. First, as was mentioned, Councilor Kuiper and the entire council. This was an idea that you germinated on for quite some time and you really wanted to see happen, and we made it happen, and I think this will be a program that will continue to evolve and improve. This was the first time, but I think we had a great experience in the 6 weeks. So I want to thank you for bringing that idea last year in the council retreat and being patient in terms of putting everything together. So the other thank you is for my staff who put a lot of time and effort into putting together the various classes. I think they were a little bit, had a little bit of trepidation going in, like, you know, what do they want to learn? They want to learn what we do here, and they did a great job. There is a little bit of competition, I think, between departments, which doesn't surprise me in terms of kind of upping their game. But I think everyone really did a great job, and now they have a base to kind of continue to make their presentations more robust and more informative, and to kind of make things better. The last set of thank yous is really for the folks. There's 17 folks that are graduating. They're not all here tonight. But these folks volunteered, when you think about the amount of time, for 3 hours a night for 6 weeks straight. That's 18 hours of their own personal time. They all have busy schedules with work, family, and other things. But they spent 6 weeks learning about how the city operates, which is quite amazing, actually. And they were engaged, they were enthusiastic, they asked good questions, they asked tough questions. It was very interactive, and it was actually, I enjoyed it in many ways, to be kind of questioned, you know, well, why do you do things that way? And who does this and why? And I really want to acknowledge kind of the first ever group to go through this class, and they gave us some good feedback, and they came together as a class. And, you know, by the last 5 or 6 weeks during the break, you had to get them kind of herded back into their seats because they were all like getting to know each other and things like that. So it was really a wonderful experience. We're going to offer this again probably in February. We'll be putting some information out for residents soon that want to sign up, but we'll probably do this again in the spring. February, March is what I'm thinking. And as long as there is interest, we will do this on an ongoing basis. I think you will see some board and commission folks, people volunteering to get on different boards and commissions because they actually went through this training. Both incoming city councilors went through this training. During the election, we had a number of candidates that were unsuccessful in the council race that went through the class that I think hopefully we'll see them on some boards and commissions. So I just think it was a really good first experience. It's going to get better from here on out. We're going to do things slightly different, probably to make it more interactive and engaging for the students. But I wanted to give an opportunity for them to come to council and just, you know, meet their city councilors if they've not done that before. And we have certificates for them. So if you wanted to come down, I can read their names. I don't have a list of who's here, so I may read some names and they may not come up. So
All right, council,
Okay.
let's go down.
All right, so I don't believe Nancy Ellingson is here. Is Anthony Bevel here? Nope. Did you want to take him? Okay. Kim Young, if you can come up. Maybe I should say Councilor-elect Kim Young. Yeah, these are not in any particular order. So, Nancy Taylor. Is Beth Perta here? Bill Perta, I'm assuming, is not here. We had a number of husband and wife teams take the class together. So, Barry Melvin. Don't see Barry. Lionel Loza. Carol Stroop. She had another conflict tonight, I know. Roberta Swenson. Jeff Simon. I don't believe Jeff's here. Deanna McCord. Nancy Phillips. And Tim Phillips, you can come on up. Erica Babyak. Sean Garland. I know Sean's here. And our last graduate is Greg Pauley. So that's all. So I don't know if council had any questions or comments about the Citizens University before we move on.
You had 17, is that correct?
Yes, we had 17 folks that attended 4 or more classes. So.
I have a couple comments, of course. Joe, thank you so much for taking this ball, running with it all the way down the finish line. Tom and Andrea and Kristen and Julia, Josh, everybody who participated in it. I'm sure it was well worth everybody's time. And I'm really excited that it's an inaugural class. It went very well from what I was told. And I'm really excited to see it continue. And I hope that the class changed some perceptions. That's really was my hope. I know when I started to run for council, a lot of the perceptions that I had really started to be changed because I got more involved. And that's what this class is all about. It's about challenging your perceptions, asking the tough questions, and getting to know your classmates, which it sounds like is exactly what happened. So now you have 17 compadres moving forward in Sherwood that you can maintain those relationships with, and certainly expect to see some of you on councils, commissions, and even on council. So, yeah.
Well, and I
Thank
wanted
you.
to thank each and every person who took the class. I had the opportunity to come in and speak with the class a little bit, and I'm going to be looking for your applications for those boards. Come on now. We're ready for you. No, I wanted to really wholeheartedly thank, again, Councilor Kuiper for really pushing this forward and, starting it and making sure that it moved in a forward motion because I think that it has already been successful, and I think it is only going to become more and more successful as all of you students talk to your neighbors and friends about your experience and about how you feel about our great city. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you.
I wanted to just say I think it's amazing that you guys spent the time to do it. We can't often get 17 people to a council meeting. So to get 17 people every Thursday night for 6 weeks is a pretty incredible thing, and it speaks to the level of the class that people kept coming. And I wanted to thank Counselor Kuiper for making it happen. It was one of her major platforms when she was running. She was shouting it from the rooftops, "I want this!" So it's really exciting to see that happen for her as well, to have that success. And again, the time that you put in was really appreciated. I know from my perspective up here, to have people out there who have a better understanding of what we're doing and how we're doing it and why we do it sometimes in an unpopular way. So I just wanted to say thanks for doing it.
All right. Thank you. And congratulations, graduates. Smockville Brew House, new business at the Art Center. Assistant Manager Tom Pessimir.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council. I think I got our wires crossed a little bit with the owners of Smockville Brew House. They were planning on coming tonight to kind of roll out what their business plan was and their vision was, but for some reason they're not here. So I apologize in advance for them not being here, but just wanted to, we've talked a little bit in the past about the fact that we were going to lease that space. We have signed a lease with them, and they are really excited to be there. They have looked long and hard. They did a lot of due diligence, and they are excited. Just a little bit of background. There's a restaurant portion, which is roughly 2,000 square feet, which is going to be kind of an open kitchen type of restaurant. Shannon Johnson, who owns and operates Trees Restaurant and Catering, is the person who is behind that. She's obviously run a number of successful businesses and those in Sherwood, and she's really excited to run that portion of it. She's partnered up with a couple who are kind of doing a little bit of a startup. They've done a lot of brewing, but haven't done it in production manner. And so Keith and his wife, Erin, are going to be running the other 1,000 square feet of the facility as a brewery. They're going to be selling almost, if not all of their product in the restaurant area. So they're really not planning on doing production outside of the facility, but want to be complementary to the restaurants that's there. So they're excited. I'm sorry they aren't here tonight to give you more information, but that is where it's going, and I'll coordinate with them and try to make sure they get here for the December meeting and can kind of lay out that vision a little bit more. I think they're planning to do some press releases. We'll probably put some signs up once they get their logo finished, which they're kind of working on in the space, and really getting moving forward because they want to be open March 1st. And so there's a lot of work yet to be done to get that happen.
Thank you, Tom. Well, that gives our citizens a taste of what is to come, and so be open to some more information that's going to be coming forward very soon, and we will welcome them here when they're able to join us. So thank you so much, Tom. Employee Spotlight. Brad Crawford, City Manager. Joe Gall.
So Mr. Crawford is running the TV cameras, and I asked him to come out here. So, so while he's journeying out here, for the folks that don't know about this program, once a month we spotlight or highlight an employee. It's usually one of two reasons: maybe somebody that's done something extraordinary in the recent past that we just want to recognize their efforts, and more commonly, we've been highlighting long-term employees who in a lot of ways people don't see the work that they do. I think Brad meets that definition. I'm going to give you some kind of factoids about Brad that, as I said last month when I read about Tom, there's things that I didn't know about Brad's history here with the city. So Brad is one of those kind of behind the scenes person, I like to say, who makes the trains run on time, so to speak. He's our IT director. So and we've selected him as our employee spotlight for the month. So Brad is a resident here in Sherwood. He graduated in 1999 with a double major from George Fox University right up the street in Newburgh, where he earned a Bachelor of Science in Computer Information Science and Business. Following college, he was employed as a network administrator at Zeta. Is that how to pronounce it? Zeta Technologies in Portland, before he came to work for the city of Sherwood back in November 2000 as a systems administrator. In May 2003, Brad was promoted to systems manager. And then in 2005, former city manager Ross Schultz recognized Brad twice for his outstanding contributions by presenting him with some special performance awards. The first was his outstanding work on Sherwood broadband, and then later for his remarkable dedication during the city's transition to the new Library City Hall building that we currently are having this meeting in. In July 2008, as a result of added responsibilities, his position was reclassified to IT director. In August 2010, the city received a letter from Linda Ettinger, University of Oregon Senior Academic Director for the Applied Information Management Program, or AIM, congratulating Brad on his completion of the AIM program, a rigorous 2-year course that included business management, information management, and information design concepts. Brad, as you know, Council, wears primarily 2 hats for the city. He is our IT department, which provides mainly internal services for employees. And then the second relates to Sherwood Broadband, where he, which is a separate enterprise fund, he also basically runs that business for the city. So in so many ways, you and the public do not see the work that Brad does, but he is a very, very dedicated, quiet individual who will drop everything to make sure everything is working on time. Pretty much available 24/7. Quite often I'll be trying to work at home on my laptop recently and it won't work, and Brad's dropped everything to come to my house basically to fix things so I can do work on weekends kind of things. I mean, he's an extremely dedicated employee and lives here in town, loves his job. We're very lucky to have him, and I just want to acknowledge his great work in front of the council and thank him for that publicly. So Brad, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, don't go anywhere. We got to give some accolades. Sit on down. Okay, so Brad is so awesome. So for all of us electronically challenged folk, that would be me. All he has to do, all I have to do is pick up the phone. Brad, my phone is doing it. Please help me, please. And he is just right there. So I just wanted to, I don't want to steal your spotlight at all, but I just want a couple that it is so appreciated for, all of us up here. You run all of the electronics all throughout the building, and it makes everything run smoothly in the entire city. So I really, really appreciate your work. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
So I too wanted to thank you. The time that I was in Columbia, however many miles away, and our plan didn't necessarily go as we thought it would. Thank you for your patience, and you made it happen, and I was able to stay in touch with the meeting, touch and go, but you're very much appreciated. I thank you for your wisdom and your patience.
Thank you.
And there's nothing like an electronic breakdown to just make you go into a meltdown phase. It's really helpful to have someone to call.
Right. Well, I'll just add that truly I love the job. I love the community, and that's why I'm here. So I acknowledge all the hard work you guys do, and I often wonder why you do it, because it's a lot of work. So thank you for what you guys do.
Well, I just wanted to add my accolades. I have not needed your services, thank the Lord, but I see what you're doing. I see how people integrate with you. You're always there. You seem to be there. You're an integral part of the city, Brad. And I especially wanted to give you accolades for shepherding the Sherwood broadband program. I mean, it's making money now, and you have some great ideas about that. And I think it's fabulous that you're leading that effort. So thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Brad. And behind the curtain he goes. See? He does
Is Brad the reason we have a new projector?
He does all that work back there.
I think that's actually
It's hanging together.
it's the old one.
Oh,
The new one's on its way.
I made an assumption that
Yeah, it's.
And just remember, your mics are off, sir. Introduction of new city staff library manager Adrian Calkins. 12.
So, good evening, Mayor and councilors. I'd like to introduce two wonderful new staff we have at Sherwood Public Library. We are giddy that they are both helping so much, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and say just a little bit more to add to that.
Hi, so my name is Shay Glass, and I have the new youth services position that was approved this past year, so thank you.
Hi, my name is Beth Gilbert, and I'm an adult services librarian.
So I wanted to add, Shay was mentioning his position was added this fiscal year. This is the part-time position. He's taken on preschool story times as well as other youth programming and really helping the youth program within the library to grow. And then Beth is taking on a full-time position, which was a vacant position, and she's already doing a lot of adult programming and services. Both of them hit the ground running. Shay came to us from North Carolina and Massachusetts, where he was a school librarian and a youth services librarian and also works at Powell's. And Beth came to us from Hillsborough Public Library and previously Tigard Public Library. So we're very fortunate to have lured them to Sherwood. Thank you.
All right, well, welcome. Thank you. All right, introduction of new city staff, Police Chief Jeff Grove.
So while Jeff's getting stuff together, we usually don't have these many presentations in our meetings, but this is the only meeting we had in November, so we had a few more all lumped together. So just some background for folks.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. Officer Garcia, if you would kindly step forward. And it's my pleasure to introduce to everybody Officer Arturo Garcia. Just a bit about Arturo. He was born and raised in Valencia, Venezuela. And he moved with his family to the United States when he was 20 years old. Since he's been here, he's obtained 2 associate degrees at Portland Community College. Previously, he was a reserve police officer for the city of Tigard for 2 years, and then was also a patrol deputy with the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office for a year. He's also a well-known fixture in Sherwood, having worked at one of our U.S. bank branches, the one in Albertsons, I think, right? Mm-hmm. For, I'll just say several years, and that way I'm going to be close. But well known by a lot of folks in Sherwood. Arturo started with us on October 24th, and because of the odd meeting schedule we had, as you know, he was sworn in at the police department on November 1st, just because of timing-wise. So we needed to get that official piece done, and so it's great to have him here with us tonight to introduce him to you. And Officer Garcia, why don't you greet council? It's on.
Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Arturo García. Al Consejo, muchas gracias por la oportunidad de tenerme aquí en la ciudad. Por órdenes del jefe de la policía de la ciudad de Sherwood, por eso que estoy haciendo esto. By orders of my chief, that's why I said this. The way I said it.
Translation, he's really happy to be here.
I did say that.
I did set that up because we're just thrilled to have Arturo here and the diversity and the tools and resources he brings to our department. So I just wanted to showcase that and show it off a little bit. So thank you, Arturo, for playing along with me.
No problem,
and
sir.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I ask you a question? Officer.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
In Spanish. If you ask in Spanish.
That's right.
I'm taking a class. May I ask why your family moved? You had family in the United States, or there was a business opportunity? Or?
No. Long story short, back in the 70s, I had an uncle that was an airline pilot, commercial airline pilot. Came to Oregon, liked Oregon, moved to the U.S. Then I had aunts and uncle that moved and followed. Then my 2 brothers now in their 50s, moved to Oregon following my family. And then I tagged along after I finished high school back home. At the age of 20, that's when I moved here, and well, you know the rest. So,
Well, welcome.
now I'm married with a kid.
Oh, I skipped that bullet. Yes, I'm sorry. Married with one child. Thank you.
Yay. All right, well,
Well, welcome, thank you.
Thank you.
So as I stated at the beginning of the meeting, we will be continuing the public hearing, the application for ordinance 2016-016, amending the comprehensive plan and zoning map to rezone approximately 2.66 acres of a 5.86 acre site from general commercial to medium density residential high. Has requested the application be continued until January. Next available council meeting for this matter is January 17th, 2017. City manager?
Did you have anything else on that, Julie? I just want to make sure we did that properly.
That was my script.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay, excellent. So, Mayor and Council, I just have a couple quick items. Your next scheduled meeting usually is next week, December 6th. That's the first Tuesday of the month. We will not be having a council meeting. That is our annual board and commissions dinner that night. We do not have any business items that night. So your next regular meeting will be December 20th. You have a fairly extensive agenda for that night as well. So that will be the last council meeting before the end of the year. That will be, as folks have said, both Councilor Browse and Councilor Henderson, that'll be their last official meetings as councilors. And then your first meeting in January is January 3rd. And that's where the mayor and the two new councilor-elects will be sworn in. And that, at this time, does not have a very heavy agenda. So.
And normally we don't for the swearing in because the
Correct.
families come and want to be involved in that, and it tends to be a pretty full room, so we don't want to have a big full agenda. So I think that's pretty good.
And both councilor-elects are hitting the ground running. They've had some meetings with Sylvia in terms of orientation. They're going to start to begin to meet with me in December to prepare. They have some training scheduled. They're went through the Sherwood Citizens University, so I think they're raring to go and have another month before they get to sit up there with you. So I don't have anything else unless you have questions for me or
Council
any of the
question?
department directors that are here. Councilor Henderson, yes.
I have a question. I was going to save it, but I'll ask it now. In reviewing the Smockville lease, which we just saw today, I was puzzled by the term, 40 months. That's 3.33 years.
I was also puzzled, but I'll let Mr. Pessimir
Most commercial
say that.
term limit, most commercial contracts are 5 years. So
Yeah.
I was just curious if you could comment.
Sure, yeah. So essentially, it's a 3-year lease agreement, so 36 months. But there's 4 months between the time they sign the lease agreement till they actually occupy the space. So that's to account for the time that they need to get in there, get things going, getting the construction started, and then their lease actually, the timing on their lease actually starts in March 1st of 2017. And it's the same way that we have done the lease for Sesame Donuts and over at the at other places. It takes into account that time that they need to get set up in the construction, because we don't start charging them,
Sure.
Until they're actually occupying in the space. So that allows them to do that before then we start all of the financial considerations. And so that's why it's written that way. It gets complicated if you do it differently. So.
And did they request a 3-year lease?
That was kind of what we talked about. They're comfortable with a 3-year lease. They wanted it to be, not 2 years, mostly because they feel like they're going to be successful and they're putting a significant investment in there. There's also 2-year extension possibilities are written into the agreement as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Also, any other questions? All right. All right. Thank you. Council announcements. So we had a little thing recently called an election. Yep, you might have noticed. Kind of happened. And so I want to congratulate Sean Garland is here, and Kim Young is here, and Dan King is here for winning council seats. And I would like to thank everyone who participated in the election process. I want to thank the residents of Sherwood for re-electing me as your mayor. I will serve to the very best of my ability, and I appreciate that thumbs up to move forward, and I absolutely guarantee that we are going to move positively forward. I give you that guarantee. So thank you very much to everyone, and congratulations to those that are the new people who are gonna join us. I wanted to talk about the Robin Hood Festival. Woohoo! This weekend. Do not miss it. Rain or shine, we will be having this great festival, and yes, I always call the Robin Hood Festival, and you know, it's the winter festival, but it's put on by the Robin Hood Association, and a lot of times that gets kind of missed. They work very hard on this in unison with other organizations, but it's always wonderful to see the parade and the tree lighting, and it starts at 4, the parade does, and then we move on through town, and then we have all of the wonderful choral groups, and I love seeing all of the different choral groups from our grade schools, and our middle school and high school normally join us as well, so I hope they do again this year. And then we do the tree lighting, and so it's always a great community event, and I highly recommend you join us this Saturday at 4. I had the opportunity to go to the Cultural Arts Commission for Councilor President Harris this last week, and it was fantastic. I now know, it's the first time I have been in her stead to the Cultural Arts Commission, and I now know why she comes every council meeting and just effusively talks about the Cultural Arts Commission, because it is fantabulous. It's so great. There are so many wonderful things going on at our Center for the Arts, and I really, really recommend that you open up that book that you got in the Gazette. Just came. Flip through it. There's a magazine in there, and it talks about all of the things, well, you read, it doesn't really talk, but it talks in here. And it gives, highlights all of the great things, the classes, and you can, in fact, this Thursday is the last of the classic film series. It's a all-family event, 7 p.m. They've got popcorn and concessions that they sell, and it's this classic film series is White Christmas. Now, who doesn't love that movie? Come on. Come Thursday night to the Art Center and see it.
I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh, it's fantabulous. Yeah, you should.
I don't really like it.
You're killing me up here. Anyway, it's a great community event, and there are just wonderful things going. And I'm going to let Council President, because I don't want to steal a thunder, talk about the Art Walk herself. But I really, really highly recommend that you open up that Center for the Arts magazine and take a look at all the opportunities for you to participate. I am going to be going to my first League of Oregon City Board of Directors orientation this week. I was elected to the League of Oregon City Board at the last League of Oregon City event, annual conference, and so I will be joining the board orientation and our first board meeting. So I'm excited to have this opportunity, and I'm excited to represent all Sherwood and all of Oregon in bringing things forward to the legislature that the League of Oregon Cities and the combined cities really care about, and lobbying for those items. So I'm looking forward to that. Council President.
So, yes. I wanted to thank you for going to the meeting. It was super last minute. I was in the hospital with a family member and just couldn't get out of there as soon as I had hoped. So I actually had to call. First I tried Councilor Kuiper, but she was busy, so I was like, well, I'll try the mayor. And she's like, sure, I had plans, but I can fit it in. So I dislike leaving my liaison assignments without any kind of representation. So it was really helpful for me to have her go and take that off of my plate. Just to fill in a little bit from that, throw out that the Art Walk is December 15th. That's coming up pretty quickly. It's Thursday. This will be the 1-year anniversary of when we started the Art Walk. And it is the most fun art walk. The weather isn't always the best, although we haven't had rain. We didn't have rain last year. It's chilly, but the events that are going on in the Old Town businesses are so fun. They're usually holiday focused, holiday oriented, with crafts and food, and I can't speak highly enough about what the Art Center and the city and the library and the businesses in Old Town have done to make Sherwood's Art Walk amazing. It is honestly one of my most favorite events, and if you go, it will be one of yours too. So I'll segue into the library with that too, because the library is involved in that, and it is a stop on the Art Walk, and they usually have something really fun going on here as well. The other couple of things to say with the library, this year the library received over $23,000 in gifts. That more than tripled their program budget. And I just want to point out that 13 of those entities that gifted things to the library, and whether it be in cash donations, in kind donations, there were 13 new donors, which is exciting when donors sometimes get worn out. And so to have 13 new ones and a total of 30 altogether, which means that 17 are continuing that support. And I just think that's a testament to our library, a testament to our citizens. All of these entities see this as a positive thing for them. And if they weren't seeing support on the backside of that, which is our citizens coming here and then going to their businesses, they wouldn't continue to support us. So it's really an incredible experience to have somebody like Mud Puddles help support the library, and then somebody from the library say they found out about Mud Puddles because they went to the library and so forth. So it's not just that they've been able to triple that programming budget, but it also boosts the economy and it boosts the donors that do the in-kind and the financial support. So I just want to say that that's a really amazing thing, and to have $23,000 invested into our library programming that didn't have to come from anywhere in the city budget or the library budget is really awesome. And then the Art Walk on the 15th, again, I covered. And there are many, many other activities in December, also some closures for Christmas and holidays. So check out the library website or their newsletter that they keep up at the front for the library newsletter, just so that you don't show up here on January 26th and the library's closed, because that's not a holiday, so you might think it's open, but it's not. But there's a couple other days in there too. So thank you.
All right. Councilor King?
I just have to be brief on one item. Tonight on our work session, we had the school district here wanting to seek permission that they would be able to go on city land to be able to do some more investigative work as far as the potential site. And what they need is they need a response from us as to affirmative or not affirmative to whether they can go on the city's land and do that work. And I just wanted to make a motion to allow them to do that, since we can't make any decisions in a work session.
So Joe, do we need a motion on the floor, or can we give direction to staff individually? I mean, is it necessary to have a formal?
I'll second that motion. Yeah, now we discuss.
Over at Mr. Soper, so I don't necessarily think it's required. I'm going to talk from the non-legal standpoint. You may agree or disagree, Josh. I don't think it's required, but you certainly can do a motion that creates a record and makes it very clear that council supports that if the motion passes. Josh, if you want to chime in.
I have the same thoughts. If council wants to demonstrate their support for that, great. And then staff can work to negotiate the terms of what that agreement to onto the property would entail.
Okay. And just to clarify, it's just so they can go on and look at the property.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
It's just saying, yes, step on our land, it's okay.
Right.
Yes, they need permission from the property owner. They're doing the same thing with the other properties that they're interested in.
I just don't want people to think that we're giving them permission to have the property, build the property,
no, I
do
think
any.
We're just showing support since we all voted for it, or most of the people of Sherwood did. So.
Yeah. So you have a motion and a second, so.
Right, and so just, and I just want to make sure that with Council President Harris's clarification, what we are either showing support or not showing support of is simply for the school district to go onto the property, making no decision as to what will happen with the property. Awesome.
Exactly.
We've got, yeah. And the reason it's kind of a funny procedural thing, we do not make decisions in work session. That is one of the rules of work session. And so they made this request previously at work session. And so I reminded them that we don't make decisions in work session. And that's why it's not on the agenda here, because it's not an action item, just a permission granting. And so I would be in support of that. So I've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you, Councilor King.
Did you have anything else?
No, I think I'm good. Well, excuse me.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just want to thank the Sherwood voters for voting, first of all, and thank to those who voted for me. So I wanted to add that a little in there too. Thank you very much.
Councilor Piper? Sure.
First of all, I have a question for Chief Growth. So at the Citizens University, were you a presenter? Did the police department get a chance to present?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
Okay, well, I forgot you, and I bet you had the best presentation
Well,
at the Citizen University.
Wait.
Oh, Kristen. Julia. Josh. Wait, Andrea.
Over there.
You have stirred the deep competitive soul. However, in true team spirit, I'm sure all the presentations were very good.
Sure.
And
However.
No, however.
Right.
So,
No, however.
Yeah.
I know where you take coffee anyway, so I'll find you there.
We're going to pinochle it out. Watch out.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
That's it.
Just a couple of things. So I do have a question for Ms. Kristen Schweitzer. Assuming that December is next week, and it is, I don't have to assume. I know that. I know that.
It's actually this week. But
It starts this week. I knew
But
that.
proceed.
I'm speaking of the first Monday of the month. Is the Parks and Recreation Board meeting or not? We are canceling because we have the annual board meeting. Right. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Good. All right. The work at the Woodhaven Park is moving along swimmingly, and I mean swimmingly because there is a lot of water out there right now. It's looking great, and I'm thinking that it looks like to me that it's on schedule, but would that be on schedule? Chris, thank you. So I'm hoping by the end of this summer it'll be ready to go. Is that true? Oh, good. I said so. All right, good. Well, I'm looking forward to it. And that sandbox with all the Tonka trucks will be ready to go for all the little kids come spring, we're hoping. So I also wanted to mention a couple more things with regards to the Christmas tree lighting and the holiday festival coming up. A big shout out to Susan Dans with the Robin Hood Festival Association. She has just pulled out all the stops. The woman is a whirlwind of activity right now. I want to add to what Mayor Clark mentioned, that one of the activities will be a really great children's craft at the Masonic Lodge. I know it's great because I ordered the craft myself. So please come and participate. Bring your little kiddos. It's a really great craft. You don't need pencils or crayons or anything. It's something that you put together yourself. And then the weekend after, or this weekend after the tree lighting, there is an activity on Irish, help me out, an Irish Christmas theme music and dancing, I believe, at the Sherwood Center for the Arts after the Christmas tree lighting. It starts at 7:30, I believe. That is amazing that we're having this event here at Cannery Square, and you can walk over and participate in the event at the Sherwood Center for the Arts. Then the next weekend is one of my favorite holiday things to do in Sherwood, and that is going to the Voices for the Performing Arts choir festival, choir concert. We're up to about 6. I think VPA has about 6 choirs right now. 7 choirs, thank you, from the back. And we have, there's shows, I say we, I don't even participate anymore, but I'm still very much into the VPA family. 2:30 is a show, and then one at 7:30. So if you're interested, there's still plenty of room and tickets available. That would be on December 10th. That's a Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Brown?
All right, just have a couple things. It seems like forever ago, but Chrissy, with you coming up tonight talking about advocating for seniors, back late October, there was an advocating for senior adults in Sherwood presentation at the police department about gatekeepers, and it is specifically about elder safe, and there is that's what it's called, it's elder safe, and it's through Washington County. So that does exist, and there is a advocating for seniors group that meets almost monthly. We're not meeting again until January, but there is a group that's actively looking for programming and for the seniors. Let's see, school board, I attended that. They went over their strategic plan and did an update on that. It's actually pretty fascinating the way that they do their plans and how they do continuous updates and integrate them into everything that they do. So that is moving along nicely. They're on track to meet their goals. And just for those of you who don't know, those 3 goals are to ensure positive student outcomes, build a positive culture, and optimize use of district resources and facilities. The Winter Festival, Mayor Clark already mentioned it, but they are still looking for volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering that day, helping to set up, I believe they're going to start setting up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then there's also help needed for a tear down around 6 o'clock. And I'm sure that they would appreciate that. Congratulations to the Give and Gobble staff. It was another successful year, even in the pouring down rain. It was super wet, very uncomfortable, but highly successful. A whole truck full of food, and I'm not sure how much money was raised, but another wonderful event this year, helping those in need. And as you are going about the holiday season, I encourage those of you who are inclined to do so, that there are families that are in need. There are several organizations share our Rotary Club. At the YMCA, there are Sherwood for Kids' Sake trees that are up, and you can pick a postcard and give back to a family that's in need. So it's an awesome opportunity to pay it forward. So I encourage you to do that. And then in the chamber world, the next chamber meeting is on December 13th. It will be at Al's Garden Center. It's the annual holiday meeting, lots of fun, but it's not going to be at the PD. So I just wanted to remind people that if you want to attend that, it will be at Al's Garden Center on the 13th at 7:15 in the morning. And I believe that's all I have.
I have a number of announcements. One of them is I would like to just give a shout out to one of our park and board members, Marnie Jett. Recently had surgery, and don't want to give any personal details, but I happened to be in the emergency room the day she had surgery. A friend of mine's daughter had a severe asthma attack and had to go in the emergency room and needed a silly thing called a phone charger. So I brought her one, and I figured, I'm here, I'm just going to go up there. And so I went up to see her, and she's also worked for Clean Water Services, which is obviously a partner utility for 20 years, and she got some very good news that she probably won't need additional procedures, and just wanted to let her know that we're still thinking of her and appreciate her service on the Parks Board all these years. Some other events that are happening at the center on December, we already mentioned the Irish Christmas, but on December 15th and 17th, there's Elf, the Musical Junior, which is a new production that ticket proceeds benefit Love Inc., which is, of course, the heart, or some people like to say brainchild, of some Sherwoodians, the Jamesons. And so that is actually being directed by somebody that came to my foundation I serve on through George Fox, Amberly Orr. So it's really great to sort of see that come full circle. She came and saw us through Into the Woods and is now, supporting a group that supports families in Sherwood. And everybody, like as Councilor Browse said, there are lots of families who are in need in Sherwood. You may just not recognize it. Last week I was at the Policy Advisory Board for the Community Development Block Grant Program and got to tour the Barcelona. And the Barcelona is a affordable housing 3-story unit that is in Beaverton that was obviously a recipient of the Community Development Block Grant federal program. And basically it's a brand new affordable housing building right in Old Town Beaverton. They have a terrarium, they have a community room that residents can use. They have 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units, and it's right in downtown adjacent to services and the bus line, and we had our community development block grant meeting up there and got to take a tour of it. And it's the Community Partners for Affordable Housing, and they have multiple projects all over the metro area, but it was really interesting. And I think the thing that struck me is residents were coming and going as we left, and they were all really happy. I mean, like, oh, hi, I'm taking a tour, and hadn't really experienced that type of public-private or public-nonprofit partnership. And I was really jealous of their community room. It was really well laid out, and appreciate the opportunity to tour that. And wanted to thank staff for the Veterans Day celebration. I wasn't able to attend. I was helping a friend move. I much rather would have attended the Veterans Day celebration, but I know a lot of people really appreciate that event. It's near and dear to a lot of people in town, and so wanted to thank staff for putting that on and frankly for working a holiday. So the other thing is I am very happy to see the flagpole process. I was at the PD today, and it's moving along swimmingly. Initially, I couldn't understand why it would cost so much money to put in a standard flagpole, but now that I see all the support that is having to be done, I think it'll be really nice when it is done. So thanks to staff for, even in this terrible weather, moving forward with that project. So, and thanks to the granting program that paid for it. So.
Council President, did you have a word? Oh, I'm sorry. Chief?
Police Advisory Board has also canceled their December meeting
Okay.
In lieu of the Boards and Commissions dinners. Had trouble getting that out. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, and I hope that we get a very good attendance at our Board and Commission dinner. It's always great to hear all in one room from all of the Board and Commissions. A lot of times people who have served on one board, maybe who are coming due at the end of their service, hear from another board and go, oh, that's an interesting board. Maybe I should apply for that. So I want to give tribute to everyone who serves on those boards and commissions, and also it's great to have them all together, hearing all about all the work, all the hard work that's being done by our citizens. Yes, did you have something?
I forgot to mention, it's right here, but Food for Fines starts December 5th to the 11th. And if you're like me, I save up my fines because I get a lot of them, and I pay them down to the $20. So then I just bring in my 20 cans of food, and it saves me $20. So I have paid my fines down to the mark, and next week, starting on December 5th, I will bring my 20 cans of food in, non-perishable food of any kind, doesn't have to be canned. If you have, BPA or something and you want to bring a box, go ahead. But December 5th to the 11th, fines for food. Right at the library, yes.
Councilor Harris?
Yeah.
Who's the recipient of the food?
Helping Hands.
Willowbrook or Helping Hands?
I don't.
Go.
It's all, I was going to say,
okay.
just do they share it? Is what I was thinking. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic.
That was my understanding.
So if you don't have library fines, can you bring in canned goods?
Okay, first of all, who are you?
Someone who doesn't have library fines.
Yes, you can. Yes, they appreciate all of the non-perishable items
I can't imagine anyone saying, no, please don't
No,
drop off your
they appreciate it. And it's a great, I mean, it does help to fill their banks. I mean, I think that's a great thing. Okay,
It's
so.
only 5th to the 11th, because I have been late. So. 5th
Late-
to the 11th.
Late for the food fight.
Late on the fine.
Oh,
I
my
walk in
heavens.
with my $20
All
worth
right.
of food and
I am
nothing.
going to adjourn our council meeting because we have a work session following.